So this is about career prospects and packages that you can expect in performance testing career, right? And what are the digital platforms we leverage for training? I already explained about Google Classroom, and I use two more platforms for giving assignments and assessments, weekly assessments, and this and all this. And let me show you the next one is what are the course contents for beginner and advanced level participants that I am providing. So these are the course contents for beginners, guys. Okay, let me go to slideshow mode. So course contents for freshers or beginners in performance testing. The total training is 200 hours. Of course, it is completely optional. It's up to you whether you want to join one tool or two tools, right? So I will be spending 10 to 15 hours on performance testing basics and developer tools and Fiddler, and LoadRunner Professional 2022 with web services and API testing. This training comes around 80 hours, right? And Jmeter training comes around 80 hours, approximately 80 or 80 plus hours. And monitoring with open source tools and analysis, like open source tools like InfluxDB, Grafana, Elk Stack. There are some tools, open source tools for monitoring. I'll be covering those. Whatever required for you to keep 3 years experience, all those will be covered if you join this full course test. This 200 hours training. Basic Java concepts and basic performance engineering concepts will be covered for though. And there are a couple of instances where my students claimed 5 years experience after my training, and they got around like 10 to 15 lakhs package for 5 years experience last year, right? Most of the students claim 3+ years experience and are getting 10 to 12 lakhs package. And I'll be also covering like basic SQL queries and SQL tools like Toad or dbeaver or DB Visualizer, Git and GitHub. And Dynatrace APM is optional. This takes like 20 to 25 hours for me. I haven't started it yet, so I'm planning to start it from long time. But because of time constraints, I cannot start. I was unable to start this. I'm going to start this from next month for sure. So these are the course contents for freshers or beginners in performance testing. Someone who have career gaps and want to keep experience, or someone who want to switch from manual testing or non-IT to performance testing. So these would be more than enough. And if you want to keep 2 years experience, you don't require both the tools also. Observe here, these two are the major tools for performance testing career. To get an entry into performance testing career, LoadRunner and Jmeter are the two major tools. Clear? And if you want to keep 2 years experience, one tool would be enough. So based on how much experience you want to give, so for 2 years experience, one tool would be enough. Ideal one is Jmeter, right? For 3 years or approximately 3 years experience, 3 and above, definitely need two tools. These are mandatory. LoadRunner and Jmeter are mandatory for 3+ years experience. So apart from this, like some organizations look for any APM tool like Dynatrace or AppDynamics or New Relic or any other APM tool, right? So if someone want to try with 3 years, I seriously suggest them to take training on at least two tools. These are mandatory. LoadRunner and Jmeter are mandatory. And if your time and budget permits, you have to. It's always better to take training on any APM tool, not just from me or anyone else, any other trainer. So these are the expectations for 3 years experience, guys. Any queries here, guys? For freshers, for freshers, one tool would be enough, by the way. So if someone, 2020 to 2022 passouts can expect placement as a fresher from us, let me write it down that as well. For freshers, one tool would be enough. Any one tool from this LoadRunner and Jmeter. LoadRunner or Jmeter. Clear, guys? Any queries? You don't require these monitoring concepts as well. For those who are trying as freshers, right? You don't need all these. One tool would be enough. Either this LoadRunner with these protocols or else Jmeter, performance testing fundamentals plus Jmeter. This would be more than enough for freshers. Clear, guys? Any queries?
No queries up to now.
All right. So I'm not running any batches for this now at the moment because I was already completely occupied with the August batch and September batch. Sorry, July batch. July batch is still in progress. So we have completed LoadRunner and have to start Jmeter in that batch. This is my July batch, July 2022 batch, and I'm completely occupied with one more batch running in the evening time. Sorry, in the morning time. So that is August 2022 batch. So there will be around like 30 to 40 people in every batch. And of course, like only 20 to 25 will be joining regularly. So everyone will get individual attention. So this is my August 2022 batch, as you can see here. Right? And the training will be from Monday to Friday. And if I miss any session, I'll be compensating that on Saturday like this. If I miss any session on weekdays, I would be compensating on that session on Saturday. You can see here last Saturday I took 2 hours because we missed some session over here. I think Thursday I missed a session. That's why I compensated it on Saturday. Okay. So let me go to the. So I covered course contents. I covered scripting scenarios to cover in the training. What is performance testing? Yeah. So yeah, let me quickly cover this. What is performance testing? And we'll close the demo for today. All right. So this demo script, I can provide it tomorrow if you want. I know this is one of the FAQ from inquiries when I get any inquiry, right? So how much coding skills are required for performance testing? That is one important question or important concern that everyone have, right? So I will take a separate session on this to show you like how easy it is to record a script and to generate a script with LoadRunner and Jmeter. So for the moment, let me cover what is performance testing quickly. So software testing is so I already have I made a demo session on this, right? Let me quickly summarize what are the three major careers in software testing. Three major careers, right? So one is manual testing, or hold on, let me write it as software functional testing, automation testing, and performance testing. Of course, there are a couple of other testing like security testing, penetration testing, and all this. There are a couple of non-functional testing. However, these are the major software testing careers. Just give me a moment. So I explained this whole PPT in that session, wherein I explained this, what is manual testing, what is automation, and what is performance testing. So please go through this demo session, guys. Please go through this demo session. I'm sharing it in my WhatsApp group in the current batch. I'll take a pause here, guys, just a moment. So please go through this if you want to understand, in detail about functional testing and automation and performance testing. So let me quickly summarize this. So functional testing and automation testing, both of these are okay. So testing the functionality of the application. If you do that, without using any tool, you call that as manual testing. However, if you are using any tool like Selenium, most of you might have heard about Selenium with Java, right? So if you are using any tools like Selenium with Java or something, Selenium with Python, right? Or any other automation testing tools, any other tools, we call that as automation testing. Okay. Selenium with Java, Python, and so on. There are a lot of other popular automation testing tools. So, however, Selenium is the most popular one for automation testing career. Now, so if you are using any tool for doing software functional testing, for testing the functionality of the software, Without using any tools, if you do that, that is called as manual testing. So if you use any tools for testing the functionality of the application, we call that as automation testing, right? So, and this performance testing falls under non-functional testing, right? So let me quickly explain what is functional testing and non-functional testing with just an example. I won't take much time, guys. So let's say, for example, you type gmail.com, right? So you are supposed to get a login page like this, wherein you need to enter like your email or phone number, isn't it? So let's say, for example, so this is my email ID. Let's say, for example, you enter your email ID or phone number over here like this and click on next. So you can enter the complete Gmail ID, or else you can skip that at gmail.com, right? Some of you may be knowing that. So once you enter your email or phone, right? So observe here, it automatically took gmail.com because we are on that domain. So once you enter your, if it is a valid email address, it will prompt for the password, right? So this is how this is how Gmail is designed, isn't it? This is how Gmail is designed. And if you enter a valid email address, your application should prompt for your password. Otherwise, if you enter a invalid email address, you enter some junk characters like this, right? And if you click next, right, so it should display an error message in red color, isn't it? So this is how. And expected input is, if you enter some valid input like this, so it will take you to the next screen. Otherwise, it will display some error message, right? So this is testing the functionality. This is how the Gmail application was designed or supposed to work, right? So this is software functional testing. And if you are doing this manually without using tools, that is called as manual testing. If you use any tools like Selenium or any other automation testing tools, that it falls under automation testing umbrella. Clear case? Are we clear on this?
Clear.
Yes.
Clear.
What is non-functional testing? Or there are a lot of non-functional testing. Again, like majority are like any project requires this performance testing and security testing as a bare minimum non-functional test. So let me explain now what is performance testing. So let's say, for example, you are accessing any website or a mobile application, right? So when there are less number of users accessing the application, it may be faster. However, during the peak time, let's say, for example, you are trying to book a ticket, Tatkal, you are trying to book a train ticket during Tatkal time, wherein lakhs of users will be trying to access the application at the same time, right? Then you may see some slowness, right? Or whenever you, during the end of the month or first week of the month, you might have observed that net banking applications would become slow, isn't it? Have you observed that net banking applications will become slow on 30th of every month and 31st on every month, and during the first week, most probably? Yes or no, guys?
No, I haven't observed.
Okay. Anyone observed that? Guys, someone who is already working, and who is having salary account, you should have observed this, right? So why? Because why we are observing that slowness is like we do have more number of users accessing the net banking application during last 2 days, 1 or 2 days, and the first week of every month, right? If you observe, if you are trying to make it, I observed it a lot of times, like whenever I want to make a credit card payment on 31st or first, right? We observe a lot of slowness in the net banking websites. So that is because like there will be more number of users who are accessing the application, right? And performance testing is something which the testing of an application's performance when there is when there are a huge number of users accessing the application, right? So let me quickly take you through the slide deck on the same. So what is performance testing? So this is at a very high level. I know that this is at a very high level, guys. What is performance testing? So I'll be sharing this training material to everyone once you confirm your joining. And this is how the training material is going to be. So performance testing, we do performance testing by simulating the important business flows of the application, right? We'll discuss this in detail later on, topic by topic, point by point, we'll discuss this. once we start the actual sessions, we will be discussing this in a detailed way. Right? So for now, understand that performance testing is a non-functional testing to determine an application's speed. When I say speed, it is the response time of each page. Let me give some examples. Let's say, for example, you are accessing apple.com website, right? It took certain time to load the page, isn't it? Yes or no, guys? So, or else if you are trying to access, Amazon website. So let me show you without doing any using any tool also, you can see what is the performance, what is the response time of your each page. Let me use developer tools for that. In browser, you have something called developer tools. If we go to more tools, you have something called developer tools and control. I used this shortcut, this particular shortcut, control shift I, to launch this developer tools. Now let's say, for example, you are accessing Amazon application, right? So definitely it will take some time to load the page, isn't it? It will take some 1 second or 2 seconds to load the page, right? So to start loading the page, it will take certain time, and to load the complete page, it will be taking some more time, isn't it? So
Yep.
here is the load time of the page. Here you can see 1.86 seconds, and you have finish time as 24 seconds approximately. We'll discuss this in detail. What is load time? What is finish time? What is DOM content load time? Right? We'll discuss that in detail, or in the once the actual sessions were started, right? So now we are, as a performance test engineer, we are interested to measure this response time, or how speed is the application, how speed the page is loading, right? Not only websites, guys, it applies for mobile apps as well, right? We do test performance of mobile applications as well. So basically, performance testing is a non-functional testing, right? To determine an application's speed, stability, how stable is the application, and how scalable is the application, and how reliable the application would be once it goes into production. So these are the important driving factors for doing performance testing. I know this is at a very high level, right? So, however, so I feel that this is enough for a demo session, guys. All right. So we'll discuss these in detail once once we start the actual sessions. Let me go back to the agenda topics.